Okay. Anything to share or ask?
No, it was a really good meditation, thanks.
Okay. So in the practice of meditation, I was thinking to share some of my experience and understanding. There are two enemies in the practice of meditation.
Just two projects.
First one is deadly. Once it comes, it just grasps us and takes us grounded immediately. Another one is like a visitor or like a mosquito. Just come and annoys you and then go away and then for a little while and then it comes So these are the two enemies that disturbs us all the time. The first, the enemy that deadly, is basically our mind is occupied so much and takes away us, and then not able to pay attention to, and not knowing what is going on. The first one is like greed. Once we want it, because this is the Christmas time, and I was reflecting that there was so much fighting going on, and then you want to have it. There's the greed. And when that greed is there, you cannot resist, and you also do not know what's going on. You single-minded go and get it. So it's deadly, it's done. And then once we got it, and after a while, then we reflect on that, and then, do I need it? So that is the one. It's very harmful. Also, hatred, again. I was told that somebody was shopping for the Christmas and there was only one left and another person just grasped, took it away, and then he was so angry at not having what he wanted to while he was waiting for that, and then he was so angry, and that generated anger and hatred towards that person who took away. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know nothing about that person, but generated that hate, and as a result, he couldn't concentrate what he was going to buy. So his shopping time just ruined by just single one accident. Not an accident, but just he was too slow. And that's the dangerous, that it will take our mind away immediately, and as a result we are not able to be aware of what we are doing to do. And also the third one is not knowing what should be known. Not knowing that what I'm going to buy, that is the Christmas shopping time. I want to buy this for this person, and I wonder whether he likes it or not. And what's going to happen? I remember one of my friends, she told me that she bought a beautiful jacket from John Lewis. He bought a jacket for his stepson, and who is about 18 or 19 years old. And she thought he would like it so much, and she imagined so much that this is a beautiful jacket, cost a lot. And as a Christmas present, normally she said you have to give with a voucher in case changes or return. And after Boxing Day, she went back to the work where she works. So this guy didn't realize that she is at the counter. And she felt so angry, so unhappy, because she spent so much time looking at this jacket, spending so much thought, thinking of buying, thinking that he will like it. So that's happened. But she was on a dress, she said, and he didn't recognize her. So as a staff, she had to do what is need to be done, so she just returned it to him and he went back. And it took her so many days, she said, it was last year, so many days to distill and come back to the normal, like that. So that's so deadly. These are the three root or the causes deadly that we cannot concentrate. It just takes away our mind immediately and unable to pay attention to at all that what's going and what we are going to do. The way we speak will be changed, the way we act will be changed, the way we think will be changed, and particularly thought, constantly thinking and going on and on and on. Same with this Sunday. My mind was so much thinking while I was driving. And then when I reverse parking, I was so much thinking, and while I was reversing, I hit my car on the post. And then I thought, then I stopped and think about that, what I was thinking, and why I lost this mindfulness, and then I reversed again. I went back and then sat in a car for 15 seconds, watching my breath, looking at my sensation, watching breath. And I cooled down, opened the door and went back to see, and there was this little scar. So, little. So like that, because too much thinking going on, and these will happen because of these three deadly things, that it just takes away our awareness, our mindfulness. So that's why these three things come very rarely, but when it comes, it takes completely. Completely, there is no such a time that we will come back it and then stop it. It takes a lot of patience and slow and dedication and paying attention to it. So it takes a lot of time. And the second one is like humming the insects, and then we just come on, go away, and then after a while we just sit down, it's gone. But after a while it just comes back. That's why it is called the hindrances. I remember there was one cartoon on YouTube. I wonder whether have you watched it or not. A monk and a frog. So a monk comes to meditate under the tree. In his cushion there is a frog staying. So he looks around, he uses his umbrella and then push this frog away from his cushion and meditates. While he was meditating, little fly comes and hums, and then touches here and stays here, and then slowly, very mindfully, and then again meditate. And then it comes back again and touches here, and then become a little angry. So before it was so mindfully, and now it just became a little fast. And then it just goes away, and then after a while it just comes back and hums again around. He becomes so angry, and he used all tools that he could find to kill, and then he used everything. And then at the end, Buddha statue in his hand, and he tried to hit with this Buddha statue to the fly, and realized, Buddha statue, hides the Buddha statue at the back, and then at the same time this fly comes back and then hit with the Buddha statue, and Buddha statue collapsed. So that very moment he was so angry, frustrated, not to know what to do, and he just grounded on the floor. That very moment, this frog who annoyed him very first time catches this fly and eat it. And he said, so he pleased this frog again and took this frog as a safety, as a guard, put next to his cushion and he meditate again. And he found so pleasant, calm. The very moment this frog makes a sound. And he became annoyed again. And this is the end of the story, this monk and the frog. If you Google it, you will find on YouTube this very funny but very true. So like that. This fly is something that comes and disturbs us and hinders us, not allow us to practice meditation. And the first one is that sensual pleasure, which is the very hard thing, sensual pleasure, because we born with the senses and we born with the natural need of opposite sex, and as a result, when we meditate, it just comes, it just generates, and the very moment it just stimulates, then it is very difficult to control. It's very difficult to control and take it. But if we realize it while it is coming, and then we can just let it go like a fly. It's just like let go. But in the same time, this is something that we feel pleasantness, not just the sensual pleasure, the sexual pleasure, but also pleasantness with the senses. It's like today, it's such a cold weather. There may be a mind, one of the mind is saying, oh, it's so cold, I don't want to go to the center and meditate, I better stay in the cozy sofa and when staying and watching this, what is called Coronation Street, like that. So that's again, it will hinder us. Or listening to beautiful songs and eating Christmas cake, the Christmas left turkeys, and enjoying that, That's also will hinder us not to meditate, not to come and practice a meditation. But these are just like flies. It just comes and it is not strong enough as the first three, which is deadly and it's very hard to control. But these are more subtle in a level that we can watch it and then let it go and then motivate ourselves to put more effort to and practice. Like a morning time, nowadays I feel very, very hard to come down and meditate. And I'm noticing, this. I wake up and then, it's so cold. I don't want to come out from my bed. I pretty often ended being in a bed for a long time until 8 o'clock or after 8, come down and with a little bit of a guiltiness there. So like that. So that's why these are the comfort that we want, and this hinders us, and then we do not want to practice. So nowadays, what I normally do, I just lie down, listen to talk, and then go through the meditation on that, and then meditate and listening to talk, 1 or 2 talks. But still, there is a thought. You should have come a little early than this. Those minds is coming to say you're a bad monk, like that.
We do that.
Like that. So that's why this is the first thing, first of essential pleasure that hinders us, because we want to be cozy and thing. And another word, it's called, these are the maras, obstacles to practice meditation that not allow us to practice. Often, very often we have to push ourselves and then do that sitting. And also being alone, staying alone, very often say, nobody knows you what you're doing, so don't worry. That thought pretty often come to your mind and then takes you away from the practice. And then pretty often I give up, and then very moment, oh no, you have to do it again. So and then again, continue doing like that. So like that. So it's very important to be, mindful that these are coming and that these are happening. So that's the first one. And then the second thing that comes to take away from our practice is the ill will. Ill will that this is not supposed to be, because of her, because of him, this is happening, and I do not like this, what's happening now, like that. And this takes away too. And it takes a lot of time to practice. And it takes away a lot of energy too. Lots of energy. And that time we need to be very patiently, in the same time forcing us to practice. Otherwise it is very difficult. In fact, this whole month, in a way, I was angry, and I was so much, spending so much time pondering on and dealing with it, and I overcome this morning after whole month. And those whole month of the practice, I never realized how to overcome, but I was just pondering on that, this is happening, this happening, this happening, this. And then this morning while I was meditating, why I am so angry? And then I realized, it's okay. And that moment, very moment when I said it's okay, it was like, Mount Everest been set away from my shoulders now, like that. So that's the ill will, and that is another thing that hinders our practice. And the third one is the thing, when we are practicing alone, normally our mind tend to deviate ourselves not to practice and go to sleep. It's okay, I'm practicing, okay, but today not practicing. And then you just go to sleep. Mind became a dull, and that's the thing happens. And this happens when normally it's because when we become very tired after work, or very tired of thinking something, or very tired of somebody, and those are the reasons that makes us go into sleep immediately. But when we realize that when we become sleepy, dull, and we want to have a rest, and when we go to the rest, and if we are paying attention to while we are resting, and it's so beautiful time, we are meditating that time, it's beautiful, and you slept, but your mind is still alert because you're mindful. You're paying attention to that you're going to sleep, you're going to rest. And then your mind is so active and you're watching it while you're sleeping. And when you wake up, and then, did I sleep? But when you wake up, you feel fresh. Yeah. So that is because our mind was constantly being aware that I'm resting. And in the meantime, our mind is just watching what's going on, and then we rest. And so that's happened. So that's the third one, the sleepiness, that normally comes and takes away, but it is not a deadly. In the very moment, once we know how to pay attention to it, then even the resting time, we have a question whether we slept or not. But in a sleeping with a mindfulness, and we are aware of that moment when we are mindful. Like today, I was doing so many things physically from the morning. And then it was about 4:30. I was feeling so tired. And there is another thought saying, today you have a class. You're going to sleep? So, you better get rest. So then around 5:30, okay, I think I better have a rest. So I went upstairs and just lie down and watching. And then about 20 minutes, I thought I haven't rest, but I wake up with freshness, so like that. So that has happened, and that's because of our awareness, and that's the third one. And then the fourth one, which is that we normally constantly thinking, that is another reason that we want to solve, that we want to have, that we want to do it, but constantly thinking rather than doing itself. When we are doing itself, we think less, but we are not doing, so we think too much, and as a result our mind becomes restless. And then because of this restless mind, people do not imagine to meditate. They think you cannot meditate. Like on Christmas Day, a guy who was struggling, and he came to sit down next to me, and we were talking, and he said, I cannot meditate. And when I asked him why, and he said, because I'm thinking too much. And then I said, well, meditation is not stop thinking. Huh? So the perception was completely different. He was thinking that meditation is something you stop thinking. But when I said to him, meditation is not stop thinking, but you are knowing you are thinking. And then he stopped. And then I asked him to watch what he was eating. Can you feel the taste, what you're eating? Because he was eating and talking constantly. And then when I asked him, feel the taste. And then he said, oh, you're on it, isn't it? So then after a talk, his mind changed. Perception to the meditation changed. And he said he would like to come, but this is far away for him. And I told him that end of this month, this January, we're going to have a meditation session in Sports Village. So and he said, okay, he will try. So hopefully he will turn up. So that's the reason meditation taking in a very different way. And not only them, we also, although we are practicing meditation, pretty often constantly thinking, not knowing what we are thinking. So restless. As a result, we become restless. And even when we come to meditate, it's difficult. Because sometimes it's difficult to quiet and observe the primary object and what's going on. That's simply because our mind was conditioned, thinks what's happening. And if we closely observe, normally we find is we are thinking what had been just done before meditation. And if we are dealing with that, and it will just go further than just before that incident. And we think of that, and then we ponder on that, and then once we let it go, and thus it goes beyond little bit. So it's like returning one after another, goes back, and then goes into the plans, future plans, and then those comes. That's the restless mind, and we will be able to see that. On the Christmas day, after finished Christmas dinner in Mantai, I went to a few places for a tea, and then I came back, and I was feeling so tired, and I tried to meditate, and I was like returning back to the people, and then what I spoke and what we spoke when we discussed, and went back. It's like going around in a circle. So that's why our mind became very restless, and as a result we need to it's like having a cold shower after a hot temper. That's be like that. And the last one is the doubt in a practice. Is it helping us or is it not? This is the very, very important and hard one. Pretty often when we meditate, why I am meditating? Is it helping me? That's the doubt comes in. So that is because many people think it doesn't help. And then when we're beginning to meditate, those thoughts will come and hinder us. But once we have realized it is benefit, then it is not going to hinder us anymore. But it motivates us, builds the confidence, and we want to practice more and more. Whereas when we begin to practice, there are so many things to be done. Why I am sitting here quietly doing nothing, just watching the breath. So these doubts will come, and then we have a perception that when we have a stress or any problems that we want to help with the practice of meditation, normally we take a pill when we are sick, when we ill. Whereas in the practice of meditation, there's nothing involved at all you are taking. Even the water is not allowed. So you're simply doing nothing, but you're doing so much at the same time. Like suppose, say we are practicing 45 minutes, basically doing nothing. But in the meantime, we are working so hard, harder than any physical work that we are doing. So like that. And as a result, there will be a doubt that, it is not helping. But once we see the benefit of it, then this doubt just fades away, goes off, and then it motivates us. And that's become a confidence. And then we have a confidence of this practice that it is helping. And that's the confidence becomes the power. The power that, yes, I have to practice now on. It becomes like that. And gradually it generates more and more mindfulness and awareness, which will assist us to our living like that. So that's why this mindfulness and awareness, Buddha said, is the great assistant that assists our life to go into the right path and live happily. So these are the two things, two enemies that we have, and we have to deal with it. The first deadly one, it is not easy to deal with it, but let's deal with these flies. comes and goes, one after another. At least we have overcome with this doubt, or we have overcome this restless mind. At least we know how to deal with this restless mind, and then in the meantime we know the sleepiness. When there is a need, we know we need, and then when there is a sleepiness, we understand that sleepiness. In the meantime, so there is a level of gradually coming up towards the complete get rid of this fly away, not like this monk who was using all his belongings to kill this fly. So hopefully, gradually we can go, and this is the right path. What Buddha was talking about, and that is the path that we have to practice. So, like that. Okay. Anything to add on? I think that is the important fact, that normally when we are thinking about others, we want them to be as we think they should be. We forget that even we don't know who we are. So that's why rather than changing that person, change ourselves. And through that we see the changes in other people. Gradually, the more we become aware of ourselves, knowing ourselves, then gradually we will see how to be detached from things that we cannot take control. I have to deal with these sort of people all the time, only because knowing their situation, understanding them, so it's okay, like that. So, otherwise, if we are taking everything on board, it gives us more space for ourselves. Okay, so let's do the loving kindness meditation. to your body, connecting with your body for a few moments. And reflecting on tonight's discussion, two enemies. And bring your attention to your hands, feeling the sensation in your hands, and to your heart. Feeling the sensation of a beating heart, generating loving kindness and compassion. May I be happy. May I be peace. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from hurtfulness. May I be free from all the calamities. May I be free from troubles of body and mind. May I be able to maintain my happiness. Similarly, spreading loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings. Starting from near dear one, our parents, husband and wife, children, family, friends, and all the sentient beings, far and wide, visible and invisible beings, beings in this room, in this city, in this country, on earth, in the universe, whatever beings there are. May they be happy. Stretching our hands and embracing all the sentient beings, sending love and compassion from our hearts and minds, wishing them to be happy. May there be peace. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from hurtfulness. May they be free from hatred. May they be free from all the calamities. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. May they be able to maintain their happiness. Bring your attention to your hands again, feeling the sensation of your hands, and to your body, feeling the sensation throughout the body, and relax. Gently bring your attention to your eyes and come out from meditation and reflect for a few moments.